Hi there, my name is Steve Gearhart, and as always, this is the Unagi Observer. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching the video. I always appreciate that you guys do that. This week, we're going to talk about a unique, fun little anime called Dandadan. Just came out recently, so we're going to do a little review on that. Before we get into that, though, Halloween is right around the corner, which means that you cosplayers, this is your time of the year, right? I mean, not that you guys need any excuse to cosplay at all. You can just do it whenever you want, but it seems to be like Halloween is like kind of like the mecca holiday for cosplayers, if you will. So next week, in case you guys are wanting to do maybe a horror anime watch or something of that nature, I think I'm going to do a listicle. I'm going to list some horror anime that you guys might like to watch while you're in your cosplay. So anyway, so let's get into Dandadan. So at USA Anime, I was staying over at a place, a friend's house, Brent Newhall. He does the anime Archaeology, both on YouTube and Twitch for the moment. We're probably going to do some different things. So you can see us and another friend, John, on there discussing old anime. The links will be down below. We appear on Sunday nights around 7 o'clock, give or take a few minutes, and we do our thing. We have a chat function that you can come in and discuss with us as we're doing the event. But really, I'm here to talk about Dandadan. So anyway, I was staying with Brent, and he recommended this anime to me. He said, Steve, I think this is in your wheelhouse. Why don't we give it a try? There's 2 episodes that have been released so far. And I said, okay, sure, why not? So I watched it, and I was like, cool, I can definitely do a review on this. I just need to watch the 3rd episode. Watch the 3rd episode, and here's the review. I did like it. Spoiler alert. Anyway, but we're going to get into it. So let's get into the particulars of Dandadan. So it is, of course, as usual, starts off as a manga first. Actually, it was in Shonen Jump. It's definitely for the shonen people. It's definitely actioning, I can tell you that. But there is also, in the awesome Wikipedia site, they tell us that it's also an action and a romantic comedy and a supernatural thriller. And honestly, it really is all 3 of those things. There are 16 volumes to date. Shueisha is the publisher. There is a movie out, in case you were able to see the theatrical release. I think it might still be out there, I'm not sure. But it's Dandadan, First Encounter, and it's really just the first 3 episodes, all jammed together and put out into the theaters, just as a way to garner attention. You can currently find it on Crunchyroll, Netflix, GE Kids for some reason, I'm not sure why, Hulu here in the United States, and various other streaming sites around the world. So, yeah, you can definitely find this if this is to your taste. Now, let's get into a little bit of the plot here. So, this is kind of fun because for those of us who burned out on Isekai a few years ago, this is a very much welcome change. We know Isekai is still going strong, although audiences are starting to walk away from it a little bit. And one of the reasons why Brent thought I might like this or that it might be in my wheelhouse, is because I do like different and odd things. I enjoy oddball things. I enjoy watching strange things, new things, things that kind of catch my interest. So, for those of us who are just like, well, I don't really want to watch something where I'm reincarnated into a slime, into a video game, or whatever, vending machine, all that one that was kind of entertaining. I'm not saying Isekai is bad, I'm just saying it's overdone right now. So don't yell at me. So he shows me this thing, and it is definitely none of that. So it was a nice kind of like a palate cleanser, if you will. So the plot is basically this girl, it starts off with a girl getting beaten up by her boyfriend. Okay, not for kids, right? Just throwing it out there, not for kids. Just remember that. And that is one of our lead characters named Momo. So she breaks up with this character. She tries to fight back. She's spunky, she's, independent, odd in that way. and the boyfriend is upset with her because she won't put out. And so the thing ends, the relationship ends, and she continues to go to school. She's annoyed. We got a little Sinandra action going on here. And she gets into school, and she's walking by a classroom, and she sees this kid, big glasses, very nerdy looking, bowl cut, the whole 9 yards. He's kind of looking at a UFO book, and he's doing this thing, and then these guys are like throwing stuff at him, spitwads and things like that at him, and then they finally take a magnet and they wrap it up in a piece of paper, going, "Yeah, it's gonna hurt," and they're about to throw it at him, and she just suddenly appears like in front of him, and they're like, "Oh, okay, we're not gonna throw at a girl or anything like that." So she kind of diffuses the situation, turns to the guy, just kind of looks at him for a second, just arbitrarily decides to have a small conversation with this guy. She didn't like what was going on. She just wanted to say something nice to the kid, right? And so this kid looks up, and he's stunned because he is clearly a otaku of sorts. So he has no real friends. Actually, he doesn't have any friends, as he admits later on. And his name is Ken. I'm not going to go into the last name because there's a whole subplot about that. So he, is just like, okay. And she grabs the UFO magazine, kind of flips through, and she goes, "Huh, okay, cool." Hands it back, and she's like, "Okay, take it easy." Walks out the door, the classroom door. He sits there stunned for a moment, and then he grabs up his books and he just rushes out. And he starts talking to her, and just verbal diarrhea almost. And he's talking about UFOs and all this stuff. And she's like, look, it looked like you were having a problem. I just wanted to take care of it. It's not like we're friends or anything. I just had a bad morning. I just wanted to do something nice. Okay, so we're not." And so that hurts his feelings, of course. And it goes into this conversation. And then they start talking about. He goes, "Well, I just wanted to share with you my thing about UFOs. It seemed like you were interested." And she goes, No. That's fake. That stuff is fake news, whatever. And he gets mad. So they start yelling at each other, and she starts talking to him about, "What do you know? There's ghosts and stuff." And he starts laughing. There's no such thing as ghosts. There's no such thing as occults. It's all about UFOs. So they have this, and she kind of goes off on this tangent of going, "No, ghosts are real," and all this stuff. So they have this argument. And at the end of it, they make a challenge to each other. So Ken has to go to this abandoned tunnel with do not enter signs and stuff at night and spend the night in this tunnel that's supposed to be haunted. She's supposed to go to this old medical facility that's been shut down because it is known for UFO sightings. So basically, one is trying to prove to the other that their thing is real. So they get there, and they're talking to each other on the phone to, make sure that they are both where they are supposed to be. And then hijinks ensues, and this is not a spoiler. Momo, the girl, finds out that, yes, UFOs are real because she gets abducted by aliens. Ken discovers that, yes, there is such a thing as haunted places, the ghosts and the occult, because he's being chased down by a yokai called Turbo Granny. And it was just a horrific Oni grandmother looking thing that is chasing him down. So by the end of the first episode, this is how they get their powers. Momo's powers are awakened as she is on the spaceship. I'll get into that in a moment. And Ken gets possessed by Turbo Granny. And their phones are on, so they're talking to each other as these horrific events going on around them is happening. By the way, in a comedic fashion, things are kind of funny. So when Momo's on the spaceship and she is latched down and they rip off her clothes, it's that kind of anime, a little bit. And so she's in her bra and panties, and that's it. And they're like, well, and the aliens are just like, "Hi, we're friendly with humans, but we can't populate. All our females are dead, so we need your banana." That is the English dub. That is what they say. Just roll with it. So anyway, through a mystical ability of Turbo Granny, Ken is able to come through the cell phone and help Momo fight off the aliens. And then they escape that. And then they discover that Ken can't control when he allows Turbo Granny to come and go to possess his body. Turbo Granny shows up and says, he's mine. You're going to have to challenge me to get rid of me, but I have him. Ha ha ha. And so they go. So Momo says, I'm going to take you home. And that's when she discovers that she has the ability, as long as she has line of sight, to control whether or not Ken will turn into Turbo Granny, and whether Turbo Granny will be able to take him over for a while. And it turns out that as the battle on the spaceship progressed, she has psychic telekinetic powers, and she can literally just use telekinesis and just destroy things. So for the next couple episodes, it's really about them, how she can't leave him, because if she does, he turns into Turbo Granny and all things, and that's a bad thing. So they go back to her home, which is a shrine. Yes, a shrine. Her grandmother, of course, it's that trope. Grandmother raises her. Grandmother is a shrine priestess with borrowed powers from the local yokai deity, and so she has all this extensive knowledge of what's going on, and she comes into the picture and tries to help. At this point, I'm going to stop talking about the story, because if I do, I'm going to tell you the plot of all 3 episodes, and you need to watch it because it's actually really quite good. So that is kind of the plot. It's there's some obvious things that happen. You see the attraction between the two of them, and they, of course, don't want to acknowledge it, because that's how we do it in anime. And so we know that's going to progress. When we watch the opening and ending credit scenes, we see that we're going to get more characters coming up here pretty soon. But in terms of action, this thing is action. So if you got a shonen niche, this is going to do it for you. Yeah. So let's talk about the anime style. This is another part of why I like Dandadan. So back in the day, back in 2004, we got Fooly Cooly here in America. And everyone really kind of loved this 6-episode OVA because the animation of it was so different. And by different, I mean it still is anime, right? There's no question about that. It's just the style of the anime was so much different, and it went into different stylizations throughout the course of the OVA. Dandadan is a very nice homage to that. It is a different style of anime than I think a lot of people are used to, and I think it's well used. Like in the opening credits is one style of animation, and when we see Ken turning into Turbo Granny, you're almost like, I would almost want to see that style of animation as well as as I'm getting inside the episode. Things feel clean in that episode, meaning that the animation, the movement, the fact that everything is striking, colors are striking. It just feels clean. It's like a clean animation. Like they did a good job of making sure that there's very little mistakes, very little non-pleasing to the eye elements. They turned Turbo Granny into this really amazingly horrific thing, yokai, that just does it. I mean, it is just spot on. They make the characters not otherworldly when they don't need to be, which is kind of nice. Nobody has right now, I need to level up to level 20 to be able to do the thing, the kamikaha, whatever. So there's this kind of natural progression of the story within the animation. It's really kind of nice. So visually stunning. Plot is fun. If you like, again, action, it's there. If you want a hint of romance, it is there thus far in the first 3 episodes. We see it. We all know what's going to happen. And just a totally different, fresh, not necessarily fresh, but a totally different use of the science fiction and occult tropes in anime. Because right now we got a lot of idol stuff. We still have isekai. We've got a little bit of mecha going on. And, things can get into a rut a little bit. So this is why we need anime like Dandadan, where it's just something that just comes out of left field and you're like, plonk, and you're just like, oh, okay, what's going on here? This is completely different than from what I've been watching. So having that palate cleanser is really, really nice. So now, if you happen to be into idle animation, that's your gig. If you're sports anime and that's your gig, you like isekai, maybe isekai you might like this. But for those other kinds of anime, if that's really your jam, Dandadan may not be up your alley. But if you do want something fresh, something to laugh at, something of that nature, it's a fun couple episode watch. Just kind of get into it a little bit and watch, and then go off and be recharged and watch the things that you normally like. Otherwise, if you want action, like I said, if you want shonen, you got shonen. You want a little bit of romantic comedy, you got it. You want some supernatural thriller, boy, is that in here. And sci-fi with the UFOs. So yeah, so as you can kind of tell, I am very much behind this anime, and I think it's great that it's coming out at the same time as Ranma 1/2, because again, I'm enjoying that reboot as well, and the animation quality of that is also very, very good. So I'm kind of happy that I'm having these things. I get to have these things. I'm so happy about it. So yes, Dandadan, please give it a try, give it a watch. And you know what? You might want to include this in your horror anime watch, because it fits. It'll definitely it fits the Halloween vibe. So yeah, Dandadan, 2 thumbs up. Watch it. Okay, so that is it for this week. Dandadan, I hope you try it out, and I hope you enjoy it, especially coming up onto this Halloween season. Speaking of which, again, I'm going to put together a list of Halloween-y, cult kind of anime that you might want to watch in case you're going to do a Halloween watch as you're cosplaying, because why wouldn't you cosplay during Halloween? So actually, to that point, if you guys happen to have an idea of something that you might want me to kind of put on the list, so to speak, maybe it's something, perhaps I haven't seen it before, please, by all means, put it down below. Put it down there so I can take a look at it and see what's going on. And so I think you'll get that next week. And then after that week, we're going to have to do the final Cyberpunk review. And actually, if you guys are amenable to it, a SciTube watch party of some type of Cyberpunk, whether it be live action or anime. I have not decided. We'll see what they let me play. How about that? So yeah, there you go, Dandadan. Watch it. Next week for Halloween, we'll have a list of possible anime to watch. And so be healthy, stay good, love you guys, and as always, watch more anime.